Good afternoon and welcome. When you hear something time and time again over decades, over a long period of time, this particular view, this particular worldview, you hear it over and over and over again. After a while, you start to believe what you hear, And when you control the media in such a way that those other voices are damped out, they're kind of like crowded out, and you have a monopoly on the information being put forward. That's something that we as a society are dealing with right now. We're dealing with this understanding of how the world works and how it should work, right? And those people that are opposing, saying there's something wrong here. No. You want socialism. You want communism. No, don't talk that way. This is the way the world works, right? And they argue, and because these other people that oppose this neoliberal idea of how the world is working, because they're not really know very much about the history of how we got where we got and the idea itself, the word neoliberalism, you won't ever hear a commentator on mainstream media, neither for that matter in alternative media, mention the word neoliberalism, much less define what it is, right? You won't hear that. So how do you deal with that? How do you overcome this when you talk about, I as a progressive believe in the second Bill of Rights? Right? And it's like, what? You're a socialist, you're a communist, and like, no, I call that decency in a society that wants to prosper. That's what I call it, It's quite the opposite of the neoliberals and what their idea of society should be. It's all about money. You're nothing more than a consumer, So how do you deal with that? How do you argue that? And then there's other people that say, yeah, I recognize there's something wrong. I can't tell you exactly what it is, but hey, I'm protesting out in the street, or I'm doing this, ballot initiative, so on and so forth, which isn't wrong either. That's not bad. That's something, that you can do. But my argument is, why not get it done in 2 years? Why not recognize that in order to overcome the neoliberal era, you have to have power? And this is where I come in. I've got a strategy that says, and visit my YouTube channel, fightfordecency.com, like, share, and subscribe, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And go to my webpage, Fight for Decency. Okay, Fight for Decency is the webpage, and Fight for Decency, all right, you know what I mean. But you gotta understand the argument here. Once you understand that there's an alternative way to run an economy besides neoliberalism, now you have a foundation to argue back. And that's what I'm trying to do, organize a general strike. So join me, if you will. Join me to fight for decency.